Happy Tuesday, everybody. April 9th, 2017. May 9th, 2017. Wishful thinking, I guess, some days. Welcome to MarketStream.live. If you don't know me, my name is Joe Cusick. I work with the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock. And this is where we take a look at all the action that's going on in Europe. Why is that important? Well, Europe is probably one of the most hot markets right now. This is where pretty much every institution and investment advisor is overweighting their portfolio as far as international exposure. This gives them not only that diversification that everyone discusses, but it also gives them a valuation play. Stocks in Europe have not hit the levels that we've seen here in the States or in Asia, and so there was a real opportunity. Now, this has been going on for many months, but this is why you watch this show. We break it down for you so that you really understand when you hear names like Merck, Adidas, BNP Paribas, all the different names that are traded in these markets that may not be available to be traded here in the United States. You'll understand why that's important to know and how it could impact your investment decisions, or at least your advisors. And then you have even more transparency into how people are managing your money, and that's why we're doing this. Taking a look at the European markets, right now the German DAX is up about 80 points. That's good for about 0.64%. Real nice move to the upside after what was a disappointing session yesterday. Just grinding, but to the downside. Currently, right now, you see that the DAX really is being catalyzed by earnings. Commerce Bank came out. They had great earnings. Stock is up 2.4%. That not only has other banks and financial institutions in Germany moving to the upside, that has European banks and financial institutions moving to the upside. It also gives a little bit of fodder as the G7 meets in Spain. And this is going to be important for Spain and Italy. These are two countries that are dependent on the EU for infusion of capital. They're very centric in finance, these two countries, and they are very reliant on the fact that they do get money from the EU. With that being said, you're also seeing consumer names like Adidas, as we've noted, moving to the upside. And you're seeing drug stocks like Merck and Bayer. Let's see if that actually flows over to here in the United States. Now, what's benefited all of these institutions is the fact that the euro has been trading lower against the dollar. We've talked about that as far as in Japan with the yen trading lower. That helps net exporters. As we had discussed yesterday, we saw German automakers moving to the upside because of the fact that they export their vehicles to places like the United States. And when the U.S. dollar is stronger than the euro, that gives them buying power. In other words, they can move more of their product over to the area where we can get a better bang for our buck. Now, that helps their economy because they're going to be able to move inventory. As time goes on, there needs to be a balance. If that balance doesn't come into play here in the U.S., where all of a sudden we can move as many Fords and GMs and so forth and our products overseas, well, now we have a trade imbalance. Their economies are growing faster than ours. Okay, so you're starting to see the economics of this, and that's why when we bring this stuff up, you're going to start to think, okay, they're a weaker currency. This is going to benefit them. This is why I'm looking at adding exposure. A great vehicle that you could utilize, an ETF called EFA. This is an all-world index. It looks at the Asian markets. It has Japan and also Hong Kong. But it also has France, Germany, Switzerland, Australia, and the Netherlands. And then they have a smorgasbord of about 17% of other countries. But basically, that's 83%. Just those countries that I mentioned, 83% of that ETF, so you can have great exposure. Speaking of exposure, UK, they're going to have snap elections coming up next month or a couple weeks. And so Theresa May there's going to be a new vote on who is going to be the next prime minister. With that being said, miners yesterday were acting very poorly in front of that news, and as well as in front of the fact that you saw some maybe sell on the rumor after the French elections, but they're rebounding. Names like Anglo-American moving to the upside very strongly. That's held the FTSE to the upside, up now over 0.7%. That's good for 55 points to the upside. It's 73.56 on the UK FTSE. Consumer names continue to bounce the upside, and that is going to be very important. The consumer is an important segment to all economies, and they continue to move to the upside after a challenge of the 20 and 50-day moving average. As you can see here on the chart, they challenged these levels. This was resistance for most of last week. A breakthrough on Friday, a settlement above on Friday, a settlement above on Monday, and now trading well above today. The bulls are clearly in control. That's why I use these moving averages to just get an idea of who is controlling the trade right now, and the bulls are in control in England. Finally, France. Now, France has been trading mixed post the election. Macron is going to be scrutinized on his choices of who is going to help him run this government, and can he deliver on his campaign promises. Sounds very familiar, doesn't it? He is coming in as a soothsayer, so to speak, where he's going to bring the right and the left together. They're going to get some stuff done. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, the French markets are trading up about 0.3% off of their lows. But still, it looks like the challenge right now is on the bulls. You're going to want to watch this level of 52.40 on the CAC. That's going to be a level that the short-term bulls, if the market pulls back, that's where they're going to have to dig their heels in. They're clearly in control. The bulls are in the French markets. But let's see if we get the sell the news after buying the rumor and the Macron election win by a landslide, by the way. We're seeing the euro continue to trade mixed this morning. As a matter of fact, trading down against the US dollar, as we had noted. That's going to benefit exporters at this juncture. But let's see if that euro weakness starts to get scrutinized by the ECB, the European Central Bank. Obviously, they don't want to keep their currency too cheap. It does help exporters, but overall, that's not going to benefit the overall economy for a long term. So we're going to have to see how that plays out going forward. By the way, I want to point out something. For those of you, if you go to the homepage at MarketStream.live, you scroll down past the contributors and all the other components, you'll see, does your core investment portfolio fit you? Click Learn More. I'll give you an analysis. It takes no more than 5 minutes, where you're going to find out what your risk profile is, and then I'll contact you directly with not only what your risk profile is, in other words, I'll give you a risk number. Are you conservative? Are you aggressive? I'll also plug in where you want to be after retirement. We'll give you with a 95% probability of whether or not you're going to run through the money that you're basically looking to invest. And we'll give you a 6-month comfort zone of your current portfolio if you submit that to us, as well as a proposed portfolio based on your risk analysis. Take advantage of this, folks. It's completely free. All the information I need from you is your first name, last name, email address, and then you just go through and answer some questions. I need nothing more than that, and then you are going to be able to build a portfolio that customized to you and not what some table says you should be in. So join me this morning at 9:30 Eastern Time. I'm going to be back talking about everything that's happening in the U.S. market. So we'll see you then here at MarketStream.live.